Hey, welcome to Quick Looks at the Casual Hour. My name is Bobby. Joining me, the gamer on the go, Chase Kinnicky, and we are going to break the moon. I hope you're ready.
You can only do it once.
We have one shot in this quick look to do it. No, Moonbreaker just came out to early access. I know a little bit more than you do about it, but what do you know, Chase?
I know it's on PC and Mac. It is currently $30 in early access.
Okay.
And let's see, what else do I know? It's developed by Unknown Worlds Entertainment, those who made Subnautica and Subnautica Below Zero, two games that Bobby has very much enjoyed in the past. So I can only imagine you're also enjoying this one. But Moonbreaker, quite a bit different than Subnautica, yes?
Yeah, I mean, very, very different game for them. Completely different game for them. And we're going to do a quick match here against the AI. This can be a PvP or a PvE game, depending on how you want to play it. And this is a tabletop game, Chase. It's a turn-based, ability-based game. It's pretty fucking cool. You get a lot of different
tactics game.
What's that?
It's a tactics game.
It's a tactics game. You know, those games that we like here on the show.
It's true, we do like them.
At the start of each one of the games, you are given a captain. The main objective is to take out the rival captain, and once the captain falls on either side, the game is over. You get to choose from one of these collections of abilities that are called assist. The first one here is going to allow our allies in the area to move 50% further. These abilities are on cooldowns, by the way, so that you don't have them right away, but they will develop and replenish over time. We can stun, so that's a pretty good one. We can move further and stun items. Units in this area lose 40% accuracy per turn, and we can move units in an area apart. Then corrosive particles, when damage is dealt to units in the area, this turn adds 1 to it. I'm going to use this stem burst and stasis field. So now we've got a few things to call out here, just to make sure you understand how this game plays. You have a ship that you're looking down from while you're playing on this field. You can move things around, which is fun. Certain items are going to give lower visibility. There is cover in the game. Down here at the bottom, you see this cinder. You use this for deploying crew and using abilities. You carry over 1 cinder that you do not use each turn, and you can stack that up. You are given more cinder for each turn you play. Cinder is used for special abilities on your character. Moves do not cost cinder, so you can move for free and you can melee for free. There are 2 types of attack, melee and ranged. On the bridge, once you have enough cinder, which is shown at the bottom here, you can deploy an ally to help you on the field. You can also add a random crew to the bridge. So if I use one of these, I can add some back there. And that will be kind of the nature of how we play this. So I've got an enemy here that can do moves, melee type. They also can put a shield up, and they use a sword of justice. Our hero is the exact same person, coincidentally enough. So we're going to be just moving and getting closer to the enemy, as we do not, either one of us, have a lot to offer right now. So we're going to end our turn. See what they do. I'm going to carry that 1 cinder over. I should start the next one now with 3 because I had the 1 and I got 2 for my second turn. So I can use a stem burst right now if I wanted to, or I can add another person to our bridge, or I could bring somebody down here with us. And since I already have a melee type, which is shown off by the yellow there, I'm going to bring in a ranged friend. Anytime you deploy in, you can see the area to which you can deploy. They will not be accessible to do anything besides just get on the battlefield when you first put them down. That red arrow is showing me my line of sight for attack when I will have it, if things stay the exact same. Now, if I move here, I'm going to be a little bit less visible, which is going to be helpful. So that's a smart move, and I still have line of sight. But if I were to move, you can see that I'm going to have a harder time shooting and being hit. So just because this person can't attack, we're going into that low visibility. And then I'm going to also check and see how close. They could move up here and they could do a melee attack on that new character, which would suck, but probably what they're going to do. For me,
so when your character deploys, when you deploy a new character, it can only go around your champion, your leader guy?
Yeah, in a certain vicinity, yes.
Okay.
I'm going to continue to move, and I'm going to start to move over here to the right and move over like so. I don't have any cinder to spin. I don't have anything else I can do here. I'm just going to end my turn. And let's see what happens. I bet an attack. Aha, we were right. So I've got 3. I can use that for my own abilities here. I can also just go in and add another person out here if I wanted to do that. Or I could add another person to the bridge. So we're gonna call another person. This time around though, I'm gonna go ahead and put them right back here and keep that person from this captain from moving backwards. I'm then gonna take
really draws the eye.
my Arya here and move them away from this. They've been hit once and they have a ranged ability, and I can still maintain some good line of sight if I come down here. So they're away from the movement. We've got a ranged attack, and we're gonna take the shot. We got a hit, nice. So now I can switch over to my captain, and I know that if I do a melee attack, there's a strong possibility that I'm gonna take a hit back in return. But because I need to start doing some damage, and for the sake of this quick look, we're gonna do that. So I'm gonna use my melee ability on the captain. They hit back, so we each take damage. I'm going to now end my turn. So let's see what they do here. I would guess that they're gonna do their special attack, Swords of Justice, which is what I would have done in that spot. And they just killed that other person, but hey,
Oof.
it's all right because I didn't take the hit, which is what I wanted. And now they've called in one of their other people here. So I got a few decisions to make. On the bridge, I can't call in anybody right now. I'm going to hang on to that. I am going to take a look at what's going on here. And I'm going to stun that new person. So they're stunned for that next turn. That's going to recharge. I'm also going to take a shot. Great, because again, I want to work on the captain, because as soon as the captain falls, the match is over.
Cut the head off the snake.
Yes, exactly. And based off of them not moving and the captain not getting there, I don't really need to move at this time. So I'm going to focus back on what I can do here. And if I move my guy, you can see that I can't quite get both of them on this. So I'm going to move over here to the captain. And I'm going to melee attack, save my cinder, and end my turn here. Captain's going to attack me.
You are a distraction.
Move over there. Perfect.
Now, why didn't you get an attack back?
Because he did his special ability, not a melee attack.
Okay.
So he put a shield on. He'll take one less hit. I'm going to do a few things here. I'm going to call in Furia. They are pretty powerful. Let me just show them again really quick. Range. So I know that if I brought them here, that's going to not be good for everybody involved, especially me. So I'm going to move them over to that side. They're called in. I'm going to use
Really draws the eye.
one more thing to call in some reinforcements. So I just added somebody to my bridge. And then also for this, I'm going to do a ranged attack. Take that shield down, which is what I wanted to do. Well, it didn't really help me out there.
We must.
I am going to move and see if I can take on... I don't know if I want to do that or not. That's a range, so they can't hurt me if they're super close. We're going to do that and melee them. They don't hit back because they're ranged, so that's good. We're going to end our turn there.
Almost time.
Looks like they're going to take out my ranged person. Ooh, they missed. That's fantastic. Oh boy.
Yeesh.
This is it. We're gonna die. Yep, it's over. Defeat. Not smart.
Well, Bobby, so that's Moonbreaker.
That's Moonbreaker. That was a rough go. But you know what? I learned I shouldn't have moved my person there. So you do get some XP regardless of win or lose. And each one of these people are going to upgrade and get some, or they're going to each get their own XP. So I can come back over and let's take a look at what that looks like. If I go over to collect and paint. So these are all the characters that I've earned. And if I go into, where was our one guy that we just played as? Exterior. You can see that I've got lore tabs and some stats if I wanted to pull that up, or I can come back out of here and we can grab another person, Maximus. And this game lets you do a really cool thing, Chase, where you can paint. And if I wanted to take a look at this character, hey, that's pretty all right. I can duplicate that, or I can start with a brand new scheme. And we can go into this character and completely customize how they look.
Yeah, and that's kind of the interesting part here is that when you're actually playing it, yeah, these characters don't animate. I mean, they animate in terms of there's some effects that go around them where they spin, but the character models themselves are not moving, which is kind of like a clever trick to maybe save some cash. I don't know. I mean, Subnautica, they've done some animation in the past for sure, but it allows you to kind of get away with having these static character models. Although, I think that from what we've seen, the models themselves look like they're pretty darn detailed, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, it also gives you this ability to really live out your miniature painting dreams. Bobby, I know that I am not one of these people, but have you ever played like a Warhammer or something where you're actually playing with the miniatures and painting them and doing things with them?
No, I have not. It's something that like I have a fond like appreciation for, but like I've just never myself gone off into that level of like commitment.
Yeah, it's daunting. I mean, it's expensive,
yes.
and two, once you start getting into the customizing, you're also getting into the ability to potentially fuck these things up, which again are expensive. So it's I can understand why it's not something that's easy to get into, but this game gives you kind of this playground where you can, and this is completely optional as well, right? Like you don't have to go in and paint this stuff. They all have professionally painted versions that you can go into the game with and play like you just did. You could play these matches without ever having to worry about painting.
Yeah, and you could also just paint. You would run out of things like eventually because you're going to unlock more stuff in gameplay, but they give you a really robust amount of tools to use to do this. I mean, like I might enjoy this aspect of it just as much, if not maybe a little bit more than the actual game itself, which I think the game is really well done. But I've found myself being very into what it's doing when it comes to this kind of unique take on character customization. And then so now let's just say we're done painting for now. We're going to save. You can name that, but if we played with this, it's going to look just like that. So that's my piece. And I think that brings a really interesting element to the game when it comes to PvP, especially. Like, oh shit, like this guy's created a color scheme and put a lot of time in with these characters. Like he's made a very impressive set. And I think that there would be some cool stuff to come with that if I wanted that to be the case. Now I can come back in here really quick and I can switch back over to the default, and now it'll be that way. a few things I want to call out really quick here for this quick look also is there is a storefront, and I was really impressed with what they did. We've talked about it on the show and in a few of our other quick looks. Like, I'm a huge Subnautica fan, and I like this development team quite a bit. The game is $30. You could it's in early access, by the way. They had a founders edition that was like $54, where you got a few new paints and a few new characters and captains and stuff that you would get with that. So I went ahead and did that. It also gave you in-game currencies. It gave you these contracts, which you can purchase, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But it gave you some boosters. So I thought we could open up a few boosters while we're hanging out.
What are you getting from boosters?
Yeah, so let me show you that. These booster packs, when you open them up, are giving you crews and rarity upgrades to the characters that you would have in game. And up here at the top, you can see that for every pack you open up to 20, if you do not get a legendary item, it will guarantee a legendary card.
Or it's got a pity breaker system to it. Yeah.
So
when you said like you got that rarer toxoid, what does that mean exactly? What does that do in the game?
So let's go back to those characters, because I have not quite discovered that yet. I can see him on here. You said it was a toxoid that we had.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have an uncommon.
So is that
enhanced cosmetic elements. That system is still in development.
Huh. So I'm wondering, is that like here's a different professionally made color scheme, or is that, hey, we made like almost like a character skin, like, hey, we made a different way that this character looks, but you can still go and paint everything and
yeah. So I know that I have a legendary on here. I got when I first set this thing up. Let me see if I can find them really quick. I have not learned everybody's names to the best of my ability. That's the unknown ones. Where are they at? Here we go. So I've got the legendary variant of this. So if I went to paint, I can't change any of those schemes there. But if I went into the current, I don't want to downgrade. I'm not seeing, and I don't know if that's just because it's still being developed, where you're going to see a different version of that when it comes out. That could be the case.
Upgrading unit rarity adds enhanced cosmetic elements.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
Okay.
I think it's more about, it'll probably add, because again, like I don't think that this is showcasing as it legendary would at that point in time. But when it's there, maybe it will.
Yeah, I mean, right. This game is in early access, so if that's something they're working on, is, hey, we're going to have skins that change the geometry, and then you can go back in and paint
right
these different geometries, that'd be something.
It does have,
it is weird to have these loot boxes in them, and if they kind of say, well, we'll eventually give you some, it's like an IOU almost, it seems.
Yeah, for sure. So and again, like, there's a very active Discord community. If I probably went and spent a little time like reading things on there, I could get the answer for it. As far as the play goes too, there's the verse player, which is going to be PvP, as I mentioned. You saw the AI. This cargo run is interesting. So the cargo run is, you spend a contract to battle 5 randomized bosses. Let me go back in here to where it will allow me to, I'm in the middle of a run right now also, but you get, like, if you make it through it, and your character, it's basically a run. Your character's health is persistent through all 5 of those encounters. Then at the end of that, you would have a lot of blanks that would come in, or even maybe like upgrades and new pieces there. So
can you put real money into this, or
yes.
is it just okay?
Yeah. So there is an in-game currency. You can, these boosters, which are what we opened. I had a few of those in that pack I got. Merits are received instead of duplicates in your booster, so I've got those currently. And I think when we go back to this here, if I wanted to upgrade, I could do that here. So if I came into it, that's what these are for. So if I get duplicate cards, I could use those to upgrade a rarity on a card if I wanted to. But in the store, there's also these cargo run contracts. These are consumables. They do cost the pulsars, which can be purchased in the store. So if I wanted to buy those, you can get 75 for $4.99, $10, and $25. That's going to let you do those cargo runs. That's also going to let you buy boosters. So there are ways to spend money here on Moonbreaker. But I think it's a really fascinating and interesting package they've put together. I really like the actual board game that you're playing. I think it's really cool, and there's some strategies in there with it. Each one of their characters that they introduce is kind of a rule-breaking character that will introduce new mechanics. So I don't think I have her here yet. I do not. I don't know if I can grab her and show it off yet. There's a character that has a grappling hook, which I really like a lot. Maybe I do have her. Yeah, here she is, Crankbait. So she's got this this big grappling that can like pull yourself or enemies across the actual game, and that's a really cool mechanic. There's other things that like you need to learn about your current roster and the other ones that you're fighting against, but from a strategy standpoint, I see a lot of potential and a lot of replay value in what they're doing here, and it seems like they got a pretty big pipeline for adding more content to it, and I think we'll probably talk more about it as it unfolds. But if you enjoy this type of quick look and the things that we're doing within that quick look, you can always tune in Tuesdays and Thursday mornings on YouTube and subscribe so you get alerted on what's going on there where we put new quick looks up. The other thing is we play games like Moonbreaker, and we have streamed Moonbreaker where Chase was building in real life Gunpla, and I was actually painting some of the models here in the game. But we do a lot of strategy games like this on Monday nights where Chase and I get together and play. We also play other games on Fridays, 10:30 p.m. Central, twitch.tv/casual hour. And if you want to hear us talk more in depth about the games that we're enjoying, come back on Wednesday nights at 10:30 p.m. Central right there on Twitch, where we're joined by Johnny, our other co-host, and we talk about the video games and the news around them. And if you just want to hear what we're having to say and not watch anything, Friday mornings, wherever you listen to podcasts, we are going to have a podcast for you. So Chase, this is Moonbreaker. I think we'll be talking more about it. I think maybe even streaming it some nights where we can play a little more of that tabletop game. Appreciate you hanging out with me and checking it out.
Yeah, for sure.